Hey guys, it's Stephanie Holladay with Tip Tuesday. I wanted to give a few tips on traveling this week with your child with autism. I know that some holidays are coming up for some people, and I was thinking about how to make that run a bit more smooth. So my first tip is to practice. So if you're able to customize a teaching story or a social narrative is what we would call it for your child to help them understand the traveling process, where you're going, whether it's grandma's house or Hawaii, you can customize that. The other thing that you can do to practice is role play, especially if you're traveling fairly local. You can do like a dress rehearsal and practice what it's going to be like to get in the car and travel over to grandma's and kind of what that will be like. Number two, if you are traveling a bit further and maybe staying in a hotel, contact guest services, whether it's the airport or hotel. Sometimes you can have special accommodations, such as boarding early or late, or having specific meals that adhere to your child's diet. You can also prepare for sensory issues that way by when you talk to guest services, being able to pick a room that's quiet so that you can avoid any odd sounds or unexpected sounds. Number three is provide choices. So a really quick fix for this is pack a small backpack with your child that has comfort items like stuffed animals or fidget toys, small snacks, things like that. That way that you can redirect them when they're feeling anxious to grab something out of that backpack. Number four, again, preparing for sensory concerns. So especially if you're going to be in a crowded place, earphones or earplugs might be helpful. The other thing is just picking seats in the front of a plane or a bus. That way it's less crowded. Number five, safety. So if your child does have a tendency for wandering, then you want to make sure to bring your wandering emergency plan with you. This could be, if you're going one state over to grandma's, it might be important to have it there, but also especially if you're going where, there's hotels and things like that. The other safety tip would be to make sure your child has some form of ID. So this could be a wearable ID tag, or if your child's older, there's something called the ID wallet for older kids, and we'll make sure to link that as well. Let's see, we talked about that. Number seven, especially with smaller kids, maybe with wandering, you may want to create something called Family Watch, where you assign a parent or aunt, uncle. You guys can rotate and make sure that child, has eyes on them, and it takes kind of the stress off of maybe one parent being the sole watcher to make sure the child is with the family doing what everyone else is doing. Number eight, this one's really important. Reinforce good behavior. So if you're having some successes on your traveling experience, make sure to acknowledge that. So that can be as small as a sticker, a hug, praise, whatever works for your child. Just make sure that you're acknowledging, the little successes that they're having. Number nine, when possible, keep your routine. So if your child is more active in the morning and rests in the afternoon, try to emulate that as the best you can, even when you're traveling. Which obviously can be challenging, but trying the best you can may help create a semblance of routine. Lastly, create a schedule. So, and this could be linked up with that social narrative I was talking about earlier. This helps with, just letting your child in a visual format, letting them know what's coming up next. So first we're going to have dinner at grandma's house, and then we're going to go look at the Christmas lights, things like that. So those are my tips for this week. Next week, I will be linking some social narratives that you might be able to use for your child, or at least modify them related to traveling and Thanksgiving. So see you next Tuesday.